Entrepreneurship to me is uh, an opportunity to create an impact, create value for people uh, by building something which is which is what people want to use. People would and it will make their life easier, and that's what entrepreneurship is for me. All three of my startups have been focused on that. How can we help people with a particular kind of requirement by providing a solution that works for them very well, serves their problem. So for me, entrepreneurship is about making impact in someone else's life by building something which they would use in their daily lives. So for the record, I've actually worked. So I did get a decent package, and I worked for a few years before. So my first startup actually was, which is what we started back in 2006 when I was still in college, when I was still in final year at my final year at IIT Bombay. That was when I first got exposed to the idea of entrepreneurship, and we can do something like this, and job is not the only thing that you can do. So that's when it started for me. We started our first venture back then, did that for about a year and a half. So 1 year of the final year at IIT Bombay, and about 6 months post that as well. Things didn't go very well on that one, and we decided to move on. And then I took up a job, and then for next 7-8 years, I continued to be in job. Worked in India for some time, worked in Indonesia for some time. For me, again, the entrepreneurship bug was something which I was already carrying from IIT days itself. So I was itching to do something, and for me, it has always been an organic process that I saw some problem, felt that there should be a solution for it, and as a lot of people think, the first thought is किसी ने तो बना ही लिया होगा कुछ ना कुछ, it must be there. And then when I figured that there's not something that is solving the problem very well, here's an opportunity to build something. Let's see if a lot of people face this problem, and then decide to build it. And that's how I've come back into entrepreneurship back in 2015. That's when I started TapMe with Gaurav. And after TapMe also, we did that for 4 years, and then starting Sorted AI, and then Kagaz is also about seeing a problem that needs a solution. Can we build it? Is there a large enough demand for it? And we go for it. So that's how I came back to entrepreneurship from my package, the good package that I had from whatever job that I did. Of course, there's a lot of risk involved, especially when you've already worked for a few years, and thankfully for people like us who come with good background in terms of the education brand names that we've got, be it IIT, ISB. Your salaries are decent enough that you would not want to just leave it like that. So it is a difficult decision, but then again, for me, and that's what I feel, that unless there is a strong drive to do something, you would not be able to leave also something as addictive as a salary. You'll not be able to leave it unless there is a very strong drive coming from inside. And that's how I took that plunge, moving from Indonesia back to India, leaving my job there and start the company in India. But also, there's of course there are some parts that you have to be mindful of, especially when you have a family. So I was married, and we were when I started TapMe, we were expecting our first child. So from that perspective, of course, there was uh, that risk element that okay, I have got responsibilities and more responsibilities coming, and to leave a job and take up something uh, riskier is a challenge. But then again, that's where your family comes into play, where their buy-in, once you have their buy-in, you get the support. So it's important to have that support also when you take a decision like that. For me, it worked out very well that my wife, after our daughter was a little older, started working as well. So there was support system available from family, parents, and wife. So yeah, I think more important is, if you have a very strong drive to do it, then only you'll be able to take that plunge. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So few things that I've looked at whenever I've decided to move on to that is, first is, do I strongly feel that this is a problem? And in my case, all three startups were driven by a problem that I faced or someone close by faced. Uh, and I thought, this is a problem that needs to be solved. That is one, but you get 100 ideas like that every day. I mean, every weekend you sit with your friends and there are startup plans being made like that. But then there'll be some ideas that will stick in your head, and you will keep thinking about it when you are not actively thinking about it still. So that's still something that is playing in your mind while you are at work or at school or wherever else. You're thinking about that same idea, thinking how every scenario that you look at, you start seeing that, okay, if this product was there, this problem would have been solved, and or this would not have been a problem. And then more you think about it, you start building more conviction. Some ideas get thrown out in that process, that after a while you will not see much conviction coming from your own side, and some ideas will stick, where you see a lot more conviction coming from your side. Nahi ki yaar, ye to hona hi chahiye, this has to be made. And of course, other important part is, talk to people. A lot of times you think about something and then you start building things in your head itself, and start seeing ki this is what it has to be. But then talk to people who you think this will be a problem for, or this could be a solution for, and gather more data points for yourself. That is this something that's more rational approach of it. The more the other uh, approach is that you start thinking about it and you feel more and more strongly about it, and then take the next step of rationally validating your assumptions that this is a problem that needs a solution, by talking to people who you think would have this problem. And then think about it, and then take the plunge, of course, keeping in mind other things that you need to take care of, from responsibilities and who you are going to build it with, etc. So in terms of learnings at college, which are helping me with my entrepreneurship, are less to do with, of course, less to do with academics per se, because material science was about materials and metallurgy and all those things. But while at college, I got exposed to a lot of different things around creating something new, and working with a team, leading a team, etc. So one big impact for me was my college festival, technical festival, Tech Fest, at IIT Bombay. I was part of the core team. That got me exposed to that, this is how you create something. You're creating a event which will be enjoyed by so many people over 3 days, and you're planning for it for 6, 7, 8 months over period. And that got me into how we plan for things, how we work with a team, how we lead a team, and kind of got me an exposure to creating something which people are going to enjoy, and there's going to be some level of impact that we'll be creating for students who are going to attend that event. That's how it's that was one exposure that gave me confidence that I can do something like that, as well as exposure that, okay, there are so many things that you could do. I mean, for example, I had no idea about designing or Photoshop or anything before I became part of the TechFest team. From there, I learned a lot of things which even today I use in my entrepreneurship. So from there, I started picking up small things here and there. In fact, my first startup was with team members that I got from the same team. So my core team, out of my core team, two other teammates, we decided to start up the first company called India Interns together. So for me, that was also a good thing that I got, a team that I've worked with already. I know how these guys work and what value we can bring, and decided to start the company. So bunch of things that helped from college. Of course, not directly academics, but a lot of other things that I did at college were definitely helpful in how I thought about entrepreneurship. So the first thing that we did, I'll take the example of Sorted AI and maybe Kagaz. What we did was, we, of course, with Sorted AI, the idea was that this is an intelligent app that will help you organize your documents automatically. So you upload a document onto Sorted, and it will automatically categorize into whether it's a ID card or an education document or a financial document, medical record, etc. automatically. And the need of it came from the fact that I had a personal incident where my family needed the medical insurance document, and I was the only one who had the track of where this document is. I kept the document with me, and I was not around to help them out. And this created kind of a panic for a short while when they were not able to access that document. That's where I thought, I need to organize these documents for my family and give it to them. And I can't do it on an ongoing basis. It requires a lot of effort and discipline from me to organize that document into folders and put it on cloud storage and share a link with them, etc., and make sure that it is updated. So for that, I thought, there has to be something which is automated. I'll just dump everything at one place. It should be able to organize, and that should be shared with my family. They should have access to all the required information. So since it started with that use case, I started talking to people at similar age group or older than me who have got family and have these kind of documents to keep track of, whether it's an insurance or ID cards or education documents, etc. And the first thing that we did was, I just asked, how do you manage your documents? Not saying that this is what I'm thinking of building. I just said that this is a problem that I am facing. How do you do it? And consciously kept it an open-ended question, because I did not want to bias someone by saying that I'm building this. Do you like the idea? Because when you do that, a lot of people will say, "Ha ha, acha lag raha hai." And because it's something unique, people will say, "Ha, acha lag raha hai." But that doesn't mean that will they use it or not. Do they have an existing system that works very well for them or not? For that, you need more of open-ended questions, which will be like, how do you manage your documents? Or we did a small survey focused on women in India, married women in India, largely in our circles, and asked them questions like, do you know where does your husband have a life insurance policy or not? If he has it, do you know the policy number or where the policy document is? And then ask more questions like these to get a sense from people that are people organized about their documents or not. And then we got a lot of responses which showed us that almost 70%, more than 70% women in India, and these I'm talking about urban educated women, have no clue about insurance documents or investment documents of the family. They just depend on their husband, even though a lot of these women were themselves earning, but their money was also being managed by husband or father, which is okay to manage as a responsibility, but not okay for them to not know where the investments have been done. So that is when we decided that, okay, there's a solution that needs to be made which can make this process easy, because the person who's managing is handling so many things and it doesn't get that much of attention. So we did that, built the product, saw the users. After the product was built, given into hands of the users, we started gathering more data from them in terms of how people are using it. So again, asking direct question from people, we would ask, आपने document upload नहीं किया, please upload. जैसे हाँ मैं weekend पे करूँगा. Now that, if you just take that answer, you will feel like कि हाँ उसको भी शायद time नहीं मिला होगा, he'll do it over the weekend. But if you think deeper, ask why he's not getting time for it, you'll figure that it is not top of their mind. So everyone, likes to be organized, but very few people are going to put that effort to get it organized. So someone to upload a document to Sorted is a lot of effort for them, and it's not an everyday activity to deal with documents. So they are not doing it. That's when we started more questions. Okay, but are you keeping digital documents, digital formats of your documents? They said yes, but I use a scanning app for that. I scan documents to send it to someone if I want to. That's when the next thing came. Okay, why not we make a scanner which people will use, and then we'll bring in the AI elements to it slowly to make them more organized. So that's how, it's been a chain of thought, starting from one point, building something, then putting it out, getting feedback, and iterating on that. And that's how we've been going about it. Did the first survey, etc. That was not so much from the point of view of who's reliable or who's not. We just went in with our network that these are the people who will go on and ask and see, because we feel these are people similar to my profile, and if I face that problem myself, do similar profile people have that same problem or not? So that's how it started. But now, as we roll out the product, this is before the product or before the MVP is made. After the product is in the hands of the users, then we look at what the users are saying. Then all data is about feedback from the users who are using it, and it also has to be carefully thought about in terms of who's using it and how they are using it. So a lot of times users will not exactly be able to articulate what they're thinking about the product, but it will show in their behavior of using the product. So as I said, a lot of people said, I would love this product, Sorted AI, which will automatically organize my documents. But not many people were uploading, not as many people were uploading documents to Sorted. So that's when we thought, okay, there's a problem. Something is not working for them. And we started digging deeper into the user behavior. Okay, people download, they check out the app, maybe upload one document, but nothing happens after that. And that's where we have to learn from that data. So it's not about identifying who to take data from. It is about taking the data and making sure you understand it correctly. And you should not go with, and that also happens a lot, that you have a certain bias. You want the product to work. So you start thinking about only people who are, using it, and say that everyone else is not a good user, is also not the right approach. The approach has to be that these people have shown interest in using it. After that, they're not using it. Why is that happening? And then you dig deeper and deeper. I don't know, you've heard about the 5 whys framework, that for everything you ask why 5 times, and you'll end up figuring out the exact issue there. And that's where you gather more information about what people are liking, what people are not. So when it started, so we launched the app in June, around mid June, 14, 15 June. And at that point, the idea for us was, here's a product that we've been building for, the Sorted AI product that we've been building for a few months. We are not seeing the uptake, but we feel there's scanner is being used by more people. Let's try it out. Let's roll out a scanner product and then see. That is how we started thinking about a scanner as an extension to Sorted AI, that this will be the product which will people use for scanning their documents, and then the Sorted AI AI engine will come into play and make it easy for them to manage those documents. So that's how it started. And of course, at that time, the Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign had already started, and we thought, okay, we want to make a scanner. Is there an good Indian scanner available? We did our research. We couldn't find much there. It was mostly Chinese CAM scanner app that everyone was using. So we thought, there is a space for us to create something which also aligns with the idea of Atmanirbhar Bharat and is an extension to our Sorted AI product. So let's roll out and then see. And how we've worked is, we would quickly roll out a product. We did that with Kagaz, was rolled out in a week. Just quickly built a product and pushed it out to see, are people picking up a product which is just rolled out. And is there an interest around that? And then we kept iterating, making the product better. If in the first 15 days, it was all about just, about 500 to 1000 people got the app. We got some feedback and we were improving the app. And then, of course, the other things happened in terms of the ban and things. Kaga started getting a lot of traction because people were looking for an Indian solution. So that even got stronger, validation for us. I think the biggest reason was that we were not trying to ride a wave. We had launched the product because it was a product that was aligned to what we were building for last few months anyway. And for us, it was not about just building something to ride the wave. We strongly felt about a problem which we wanted to solve. And this was how we were looking to solve it anyway. Once the ban happened, of course, it helped everyone. And a lot of apps came up. A lot of apps got a lot of traction also in the initial days. But since we were in the game from day one for a longer vision, for the long term, we were very focused on building the product from that perspective. We were not looking to, get some quick traction, run ads, make some money, and as the trend goes away, we are okay with it. So we made sure that we focused on important things for the users. We understood why people did not want to use a Chinese app now. There were some concerns that had come up around data security, or concerns around data being pushed to different countries, ads being shown, all of that. Once that came in, so we consciously made sure that we address those problems for the users. We made sure that Kagaz works completely offline, doesn't take data anywhere. Even if you switch off the internet, Kagaz app works perfectly fine. We made sure there are no ads in the app, so that there's a smooth experience for everyone who wants to use it. We very soon introduced languages, Indian languages, because we very quickly learned that we are building for the Bharat users, and this user base is someone whose preferred language is their regional language, not necessarily English. And we built a lot of workflows in terms of the flow of the app, focused on that user, not from a short-term perspective, but from a long-term perspective, that we want to become the documents app for everyone in India. From scanning to managing their documents to cloud backups to editing documents, everything they should be able to do on their phone in Kagaz app. And we also learned from our users initial interaction, that our user segment is someone who's a big chunk of our target user, Bharat user, is someone who does not own a laptop or a desktop. For them, everything happens on their mobile phone. So how can we build tools for them to empower them? And all of this put together, the idea that we want to build something for the long term, made sure that we were able to outperform everyone else and become leaders in when I started the first venture back in 2006, the entrepreneurship ecosystem was not like what it is today. It was, there were not many startups in India at that time. Like for context, Flipkart and Ola also started in 2008 and 2010, and I'm talking about 2006. So at that time there was not much. We were not thinking of it like we want to become, we want to start a startup or we want to become entrepreneurs. We were just looking at college students, looking at this is a problem that we faced. In our case, it was internships. So we thought, being in IIT, having access to the kind of companies that would come on campus to recruit for internships as well. Still, we saw that there are some people who faced challenges getting their internships. What happens to people who do not have access to these kind of companies because of wherever they are sitting? How can we solve this for them, make it easier for them to get those access to those internships? And that's how the first company we started. So it was not a conscious thought that I want to get into startups or entrepreneurship, or at least when we started, because it was not like today. We did not have many startups, and that was not, honestly, at that time the hottest jobs were consulting or investment banking, and everyone was thinking about those things, and not so much about startups. So for me, it was very organic at that time. Of course, after working for a year, while still in college on the idea, I was almost convinced that I want to work in startups. It could, and for me, startups at that time meant working in a small team where I can create more value. I don't want to be part of a large company where I'm just doing a small bit somewhere. So that was something that I had by the end of that 1 year working on my startup idea. I had kind of figured that this is what I enjoy more. And nothing against, I mean, working in bigger companies, that's also, but for me it did not seem like something that I would be very excited about. And then after college also picked up a job which gave me that kind of opportunity, stayed in that job for 3.5 years to get more exposure to entrepreneurship, and then eventually started again later. So yeah, to answer your question, it was more organic for me. Had not consciously thought that I want to go for startups and not join a company.